picture this. You're out on an early morning drive. The air is still cool, the sun's just hitting the savanna, and then you hear it. A sound that feels like it's coming right up from the earth itself. It's not a lion, it's not an elephant, it's this deep, booming drumbeat. Well, that sound is your signal that you're in the presence of one of the savanna's most incredible and, honestly, most misunderstood residents. That call, which, can travel for almost 4 kilometers, belongs to the Southern Ground Hornbill. Some cultures even call it the Thunderbird or the Rainbringer because of that powerful sound. And today, we're going to uncover the secrets behind that call and the amazing life of this bird. We're going to find out why their family is literally everything, why their slow and steady lifestyle puts them in real danger, and how a single doomed chick might just be the key to their entire future. So, here's our plan. We'll dive into the hornbill's world, then zero in on 3 key takeaways that'll really change how you see them. We'll talk about why this all matters when you're out on safari, bust a few myths, get you ready for guest questions, and then we'll look at the big picture. Okay, so what are we really looking at when we see a southern ground hornbill? Well, for starters, it's the biggest hornbill species on the planet. But even more importantly, especially here in South Africa, you're looking at an endangered animal. And the secret to their success and their vulnerability isn't that giant beak. It's all about their family. You see, southern ground hornbills are what scientists call cooperative breeders. Basically, their whole world is built around the group. So don't think of them as just a flock of birds. No, they're more like a super tight-knit family clan where everybody has a very specific job. This is their greatest strength, but as we're about to find out, it's also a huge weakness in our modern world. So how does this family-first lifestyle actually work? We can boil it all down to 3 essential takeaways. Seriously, if you remember nothing else, these 3 points will totally transform how you explain a hornbill sighting to your guests. All right, first things first. That group of hornbills you see walking through the grass, it is not a random bunch of birds. It's a family, a complex one. In that whole group, there's only one breeding pair, the alpha male and female. Everyone else? They're helpers, and they're usually older male offspring who spend their lives defending the territory and helping raise their own younger brothers and sisters. The whole system depends on them. And here is a fantastic little trick you can use to bring this story to life for your guests right away. You can point out the power couple with one simple detail. Look at their throats. The male has that pure, bright red wattle, but the female, she has a very distinct patch of deep violet blue right on her throat. It's an awesome immediate detail for guests to spot. And that family has a massive job to do. A single group is responsible for defending a territory of up to 100 square kilometers. I mean, that is a huge area for a small family to patrol and protect from rivals. And this just perfectly shows why those helpers are so important. They're the soldiers of the family, defending the borders and all the food inside. Now for our second key takeaway, and this one really gets to the heart of why they're endangered. Ground hornbills do, well, everything slowly. Their entire life strategy is built on patience and living a long time, which is a brilliant system in a stable world, but it's really dangerous in a world that's changing as fast as ours is. I mean, just look at this timeline. They can live for 50, maybe even 60 years in the wild. But get this, they don't even start breeding until they're about 10 years old. And because it takes so much effort from the entire group, they might only raise a single chick every 3 to 9 years. With a life cycle that slow, you can see how any loss has a massive impact on the population. And unfortunately, they face a lot of losses. The biggest threat is habitat loss. But they also get persecuted for breaking windows. We'll get to that in a minute. Plus secondary poisoning, a lack of huge old trees for nesting, and even electrocution from power lines. When you add all these modern threats to that incredibly slow breeding rate, well, you start to understand why their numbers have just crashed to only about 1,500 birds left in all of South Africa. Our final takeaway is a really dramatic but crucial part of their story. It happens in the privacy of the nest, and it's the key to both their natural survival strategy and a really unique opportunity for conservationists to step in and help. So the female actually lays 2 eggs, but almost always only one chick makes it. The first chick to hatch is bigger, it's stronger, and it just completely outcompetes its younger sibling for food. That second chick almost always starves within just a few days. The technical term for this is siblicide. Now, I know it sounds brutal, but it's nature's way of making sure the family doesn't split its resources trying to raise 2 chicks when it can really only manage one strong survivor.
Okay, so knowing all this, how does it actually change what you do on a game drive? Well, it takes a simple bird sighting and turns it into this deep story about family, about survival against all odds, and about the delicate balance of the entire savanna. You're not just showing guests a big black bird anymore, you're introducing them to a royal family.
Here's a simple 4-step playbook for the next time you find them. First, try to spot the alpha pair using those throat colors we talked about. Second, look for any younger birds. You'll know them by their duller, more yellowish-gray skin on their face. Third, point out their slow, deliberate walk. Explain that they're being patient hunters, scanning the ground for snakes, insects, you name it. And finally, for a great little fun fact, you can tell your guests they've just ticked off one of the Kruger National Park's famous Big Six birds. Now, these birds are really significant in many cultures, which means they're surrounded by some powerful myths. As a guide, being able to separate fact from fiction is just so important for telling their true story with accuracy and respect. So one common myth you might hear is that seeing a ground hornbill is a bad omen. And yes, while some cultures do link them to death, many others see them as a completely positive sign. They're widely known as rainbringers, whose deep calls mean the rains are coming. In a lot of traditions, it's actually a huge taboo to harm one, which has probably given them some protection over the centuries. And what about the whole window breaking thing? People think they're being aggressive, but it's got nothing to do with people. They're just fiercely territorial. So when a hornbill sees its reflection in a window, it doesn't see itself. It sees a rival bird invading its home turf. The bird is just defending its family from what it thinks is an intruder. And understanding that, well, it completely changes how you see that behavior. Now that you've got all this knowledge, you'll be ready for pretty much any question. Let's just quickly run through the top 3 questions you're probably going to get from guests, and I'll give you some really simple, confident answers. First up, is that some kind of turkey? This is the perfect opening. You can say, that's a great observation. It really does look like one, but it's actually the world's largest hornbill. Next, why are they walking around instead of flying? Your answer? Because they're expert hunters on the ground. They can walk for miles every day, searching for everything from insects to snakes. And finally, the one you're totally ready for, how do you tell the boys from the girls? And you'll say, easy, look at their throats. All red is the male, and the one with the blue patch on the red is the female. So let's just zoom out and bring this all together. The story of the Southern Ground Hornbill isn't just about a bird. It's really a story about family, about patience, and about a life strategy that's now facing these huge challenges in our fast-paced world. The next time you see them, remember what you're really looking at. You're seeing a dedicated family, all working together. You're seeing a species that pours everything it has into raising one single precious chick over many years. You are seeing an endangered animal fighting for its future. And you know what? You're also seeing a symbol of real hope. Because remember that second chick, the one that's naturally doomed to die in the nest? Well, conservation projects are now carefully rescuing that second chick, hand-rearing it, and then creating totally new family groups to reintroduce into the wild. It is a brilliant strategy that uses the bird's own biology to help save it. And it leaves us with this powerful final thought. In conservation, sometimes the smallest, most hopeless-looking life can actually hold the key to an entire species' future.